Welcome back, brothers, to yet another episode here on the Oshay Vlog Cast Channel. Man, I am your host, Oshay Duke Jackson. We're doing a doubleheader today. We had Ron Wills on earlier, and we're bringing back my brother. Hold on a second. Damn, I got a doubleheader, and today we're with my brother. I am Mara on here by way of Kenya,
Yeah,
living in
man.
Mexico. Just got back not too long ago from Cuba, and we had an excellent show, man. The first time he came through, a lot of you people already know who he is. He's a great YouTuber. He's blowing up. So I want to welcome him back for the second time over here on the Oshay Vlog Cast Channel. What's going on? I am Mara.
Man, I'm good, man. It's my pleasure. Thank you so much, man, like for considering me once again. Yeah.
Let me ask you this, man. Just for people who don't, maybe didn't see our first interview,
Yeah.
kind of let everybody know, who you are again, where you're from, what you do, and things like that. For the people who may not
The new
know who you are.
subscribers.
Obviously, some people do, but go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah. Okay, for the new subscribers, my name is Marwa. So I call myself I am Marwa. Yeah, my name is Marwa. So I call myself I am Marwa. And I'm actually Kenyan, I'm African, but I left Kenya in a miraculous way to go and teach English in Colombia. So in Colombia, my first year, I worked in Colombia and I received a lot of people asking me, hey, tell us about Colombia, the food, the cost of living, the girls, the nightlife. Then one day I started I met some group of friends in Colombia and we agreed to start a group to make like these funny videos, those funny videos people make on Instagram or Facebook. Then after like 4 weeks, so they were like, you will buy a camera and you will buy this and you will be the editor. So everybody had their role. My role was to buy a camera. And when I bought the camera, we did the first video. I saved like for like I think 4 months because the camera was $1,300 and I was earning $500 a month in Colombia that time. So I saved like I think for 4 or 5 months, and then I bought a camera. Then we started making videos. So we made the first video. We used to make videos every Sunday. So we made the first video. It was very good. The second video, very good. The third video. The fourth video, one guy did not show up. When we were making the fifth video, 3 guys did not show up. So I was left, me and one guy. And then like the group died like that. So I would ask them, hey, what's up? What are you doing? And they'll tell me, man, I'm sorry, I have exams tomorrow, or my girlfriend is around. And that group died like that. So I was left with the camera and I was like, what should I do with this camera? Then that's how I started YouTube. Like, I was like, let me just tell people about Colombia and just try to learn about everything, how to start a YouTube channel, how to edit videos, which program to use. So, and that's how I started YouTube. So I've been living in Colombia for 2 years. So I can say I vlogged in Colombia for a whole full year, just dating, nightlife, travel guides. Then from there, I am now who I am now today. Like I call myself a YouTuber. I quit my job in March this year for a full-time YouTube. I'm in Mexico currently.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Let me do this. Shout out to my man Riz Jeezy 40, man, with the file or super chat. I really appreciate you, brother. Thank you for supporting. And for those people, get the likes up in the video if you're here in the live stream, and you can go into the description and subscribe to I Am Mara. Let's just talk a little bit about, before we get into like, your travels to Mexico and to Cuba.
Yeah.
Let's talk about again back in Kenya. You actually
Yeah.
have a very interesting background when you were in Kenya. What was your education? What did you go to school for, and where were you working prior to moving out of Kenya?
Man, it's really crazy because I'm going to Kenya in, I think, October to shoot a movie about my life. I've found like some few friends here in Mexico who are willing to go with me. And I would say, man, for me, if people don't believe in God, man, for me, I do. Like, I strongly do. And I'm actually this boy who was born in a family which was very, very like poor. And but my mom was an English teacher, so that's why I'm able to speak like very fluent English with little accent, even if my accent is African, but it's not really like purely affected. And man, I grew up. I was this guy who grew up with one long T-shirt, you know, and that one long T-shirt would be like my pants, would be my shirt, and it's always be like my uncle would come and say, "Hey, this is your clothes. I brought you this," and I'm like, "Wow, thank you, thank you." And the first time I wore shoes, man, was like 12 years. Yeah, 12 years. After 12 years of my life, like
Whoa, the first time you wore shoes was 12 years old?
Yeah, man. Like, and those were plastic shoes. And the funny thing is, I remember I was so excited, and we used to use these lanternas. These, I don't know if you know these lanternas. So let me try to illustrate using this container. So this was a lanterna, and you know you can carry it. So I was so excited. I cleaned the shoes and I put them to dry next to the lanterna, and the shoes got burnt on my first day. That my first shoes. I was Man, it's crazy, man. Sometimes when I remember those stories, I think they make me who I am right now. A very fearless guy, a guy who like crosses boundaries with zero apologies. Yeah. Yeah, I think yeah. But I studied statistics. So in my entire life I've been good in math. Yeah. So I did math like in my entire primary school, high school, math was always or has been always been my best subject. So in the university I did actuarial science. Yeah.
Okay.
It's purely statistics. Yeah.
Okay, so you did that, and then after that you were working in a bank. So you didn't have any, first time you were wearing shoes at 12 years old, but still you willed yourself through college. You were working in the bank, and how was working in the bank?
So actually, I think working in the bank, when I look at it, I see like it was preparing me for YouTube in a way, because I was a salesman. So I finished school. I graduated. When I went to the bank, what they told me is all you can do is start from where everybody starts, because I had no connection. My mom knew nobody in the city. Like they could give me like a good place in the bank. So I started selling things to, like, I'll sell accounts, I'll sell loans to people in the street. So I would walk in the street, meet people like, "Hey, what's up? My name is Marwa. I work with Chase Bank." Actually, that bank was Chase Bank Kenya, and you can enroll with us here. You can put some money in the bank. But when they did those all type of transactions, I got commissions. And so it was about, if I don't go out and talk to people and convince them to either put money in the bank account or take some loan, then I'll not be earning any money, because my basic salary actually was around it was around 130 pesos, not pesos, US dollars, 130 US dollars. Yeah, per month. Yeah, per month. That was per month. But maybe I used to work so hard, talk to people. So on average, I would get like $400 a month, but not on average, actually. That's a good month, but on average, it was around $250. Yeah. So wow. When I was working in the bank, and one day somebody came to my house and told me like, "Hey, what's up?" He was my friend actually, and we started with him. We were with him in the university. He told me, there's this job about Colombia. You can go and teach English in Colombia. So I was just in my house after work, a working day. I was just relaxing, and the guy came to my house and said, "Hey, Marwa, I have a friend who has told me about an opportunity in Colombia." And it was so crazy, man. It's like 5 people. So there was a guy in Colombia. This guy was Kenyan. He was already in Colombia. This guy told his cousin, "Come to Colombia." The cousin said no, for some reason, I don't know. And this guy told a friend, and the friend told my friend, and my friend told me, and me, I came to Colombia, and all these guys never went to Colombia. So like it was, I look at it, I see, man, it was just like destiny. Like I was just supposed to go. Yeah. So like a guy told his cousin for no reason, he said no, and the cousin told his friend, and his friend told my friend. And actually my friend told a lot of my friends who were like classmates, but nobody was interested. And when he came to my house, he gave me a link on Facebook. And that's when I filled the information, like my name, my email. After 3 days, I was contacted by the company. Mm-hmm. And they told me, "Okay, we want us to do interviews." I did like 3 interviews in a span of like a week, every week. Then I passed the interviews. Then they were like, okay, send us your papers. Then they were like, okay, buy your flight ticket. Okay, here is your visa. And man, I flew out of Africa like that. Like, it was just like a miracle. And it's crazy. Sometimes this guy who gave me this opportunity looks at me now and he's like, man, like he can't believe, yeah. And I look at it, man, I feel like, wow, yeah. Like, yeah. And that's why sometimes I look at my life, I feel like I'm not supposed to fear anything, man. Like I would go where they say I can't. And I do it because when I look back, I was this guy like who used to look at animals like 50, 60, and maybe never go to school with a long t-shirt the whole day, 20, like 12 hours, like 6 to 6. Man, I'm not scared. Yeah. And now I make YouTube videos. People watch my channel. People say, man, you inspire me. Is your dad the prince in Africa? How do you pay for this? How do you? And sometimes even I watch videos, people are making videos about me. They say I'm a fake YouTuber. I pay people for my YouTube videos, like to do my YouTube. I look at it, I say, man, but there's one phrase in Africa which they say, if a good tree has no fruits, then nobody will look at it. But that tree which has a fruit, people will try to bring it down. People will try to hit it to take the fruits. You know, people will try to climb at it. Yeah, so I take it easy when I do YouTube sometimes. Yeah, because sometimes the comments are very hateful. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, they're definitely very hateful. Let me do this. We have a super chat. One shout out to the brother G Will. Wow, two of my favorite YouTubers on at the same time. What up, Oshay? What up, Mara? I would rank Cuba one of the top spots for the beauty of the women. Mara knows this. LOL. You know this is right.
Yeah, man. You know the funny thing is I can't see the comments. How should I check the comments? Where should I click?
Yeah, you could go to the Oshay Vlog Cast, but I can send it to you on the WhatsApp. So if you want me to do that,
yeah.
WhatsApp. Let me kind of go into this. So okay, so because I think the reason why I'm talking about your journey because you come from absolutely nothing. You know, kind of very similar to a lot of us. I mean, even though, you know, a lot of people are from America, but still come from, you know, like very, very humble beginnings. Now you're in Colombia. Let's talk about let's skip from Colombia real quick.
Yeah.
You end up in Mexico where you are right now.
Yeah.
And then when because something happened in Colombia, right? Colombia told you that you had to leave. Let's talk about that real quick.
So actually what really happened is, man, I was in Colombia. I worked for my first year and my visa expired. So that was 2016, end of 2016, my visa expired. Then they told me I was supposed to go back home where I came from. I had my ticket, I had my flight ticket, I had everything, but I was like, I can't go back to Africa right now because I don't have money. All the money I've spent was buying a camera and stuff. So man, I was like, when should I go? You know, and that night I slept looking at my phone with that notification of a flight, but I just slept, man. And the following day came, I missed my flight, and I knew, man, my life was supposed to change. But after that, I went to Panama.
Okay.
I went to Panama because I was like running away because I didn't want to be legal in Colombia. So I went to Panama. I stayed in Panama like for 3 months, for 2.5 months. Then the same organization, actually that year, I was one of the best teachers they had like nominated in the whole country.
Mm-hmm.
So the same organization reached out and said, oh, we still have a chance for you if you want to come back to Colombia. Where are you? I told them I'm in Panama. They're like, okay, perfect. Then they sent me the visa again. So I went back to Colombia. So when I went back to Colombia, I knew, man, it's either I hold on YouTube or, man, I'll just like, at the end of the year again, I'll be in the same trouble. So when I went to that organization, I changed. I actually like got out of the organization after like 2 weeks after arriving in Colombia. Then I changed to another organization, which now I was working with for 1 year. And when I tried to renew my visa, the government said no. Like they didn't give a reason, they didn't do anything, they just said no. And when I tried to inquire, they said, as a government, we are entitled to accept or reject visas with no explanation. And I was like, no problem, man. So I went to the Mexican embassy and Cuban embassy. I got the visas. It was just miraculous because I was looking for just like a month. I was just looking for a way to leave Colombia. But Mexico gave me 6 months. I was like, wow. And with multiple entries. So that's how now I'm in Mexico.
Let me ask you this, because
Yeah.
once you decided that you were going to go to Cuba, because like, I don't know, from people in the United States, it seems to be quite difficult to go there. What were some of the processes that you needed to do to get a Cuban visa? What did you find the process very difficult to do, or?
So actually, I got the visa while in Colombia. So what I did is I went to the embassy. I told them I want to go to Cuba for a month. And as an African, actually, these things depends where you're from. Let's say if you're from a Latin America country, it's very easy for you to go there. But right now, because of Donald Trump, people from the US can't really go directly. So you have to come to Mexico. Then from Mexico, you can travel from Mexico to Cuba. Or you go to Canada. Once you are in Canada, you can travel from Canada to Cuba. And I'm told once you arrive in Cuba and they see your passport, they don't stamp it. They just let you, like, yeah. So like there's no evidence you're in Cuba, like something like that. That is up to of late. But for me, I had to show them my bank statements. I had to show them my flight tickets to go and to come back, like to enter Cuba and to leave Cuba. Then what else? Then a place to stay. Yeah, but they were pretty easy on me. After showing them those, they just gave me a visa for 1 month. Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about as soon as you got to Cuba, let's say, as far as before you got there,
yeah,
did you have to book? Did you have to show them where you would be staying at? I don't know if you said that already. Like, did you?
No, you just show them like an address. Like me, I picked an address online, any address, and I showed them this address. They didn't ask me many questions. Yeah.
Okay.
But once you arrive in Cuba, also, let's say you are at the airport checking in, they will ask you where you're staying. You'll fill some like paper to satisfy, like not like to satisfy, but to declare if you have something. Maybe like me, I had a drone, a filming drone, and they really didn't want drones in Cuba, so I had like to check on that paper, because if I didn't, when I was checking out, it would have been a big problem. So I had to leave my drone at the airport in Cuba. But if I didn't have a drone, just my camera, it would be very easy, like just passing and not declaring anything.
Okay. So let's talk about, like, I mean, obviously, I know that there is a difference of a currency there, and all of that. Let's talk about, for those people wanting to go, the currency situation.
That's really a tricky situation there. And actually, if people watch my videos, I did a video saying the biggest scam in Cuba, it's about currency. People play cards with the currency. Like, it's funny, in Cuba, they accept American dollars as the government. Then they have CUSE, which is more, okay, so I'll explain in two ways. In Cuba, there are like 3 currencies. There is a local currency, very local currency, very different, which is 25 of this local currency equals to $1, which equals to 1 coup. Coup is the same as a dollar. But it's also a trick part, because let's say you just arrived in Cuba today and you have American dollars. So I want you to see from that procedure. Let's say you've just arrived, you have these American dollars, you've gone to a bureau, you want to exchange. So what they'll do is they'll give you $1 for 0.8 of it, like the change. They'll take 0.4% of each dollar you give them. And that bureau is controlled by the government. So it's not like somebody's property, or like in the streets here you may find anywhere. No, it's like a governmental like office. You go there, you show your IDs and stuff. And they will take, in each dollar you give them, they will take 0.14, okay, of it. Then they will give you the coup. So once they give you the coup, and now you're out of that exchange bureau or exchange room, then it will be 1 for 1. So the funny thing is, if you have a dollar and you're paying somebody, people will say no. Why? Because they know if they go to change it, the government will take 0.4. So that's why people don't like the dollar to take.
So they'll take like 60 cents for each dollar.
Yeah, they will take 0.14. It's like the change is $1 for 0.84.
Oh, okay. So okay,
So
0.8.
once you change that, once you walk out of that building, it becomes now equal. But before then, if you have the dollar in your pocket, each dollar is less than it's less by 0.14. It's really tricky. So many locals don't want to take your dollar directly. Why? Because they know when they change it, they will lose the money.
Mm-hmm.
But you as a foreigner, you have to go and change it, then have this money you're given as a tourist. So with this money, you can use it like locally now, but not the local currency. So the government will give you a touristic currency, not a local currency.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the trick comes in. So let's say, like me, I was so new, I didn't know about that. So when they gave me this, when I changed $300 my first day. And when they gave me this, like it was around 200 and something. So I would go in the streets and people would give me the local currency value. They will say maybe 53. And they don't say, is it dollars? Is it seuse? Is it the coup? So because you have this one, which you are given in the bank, you think maybe this is all they're supposed to maybe to use. Then like me, I paid $53 on my first meal instead of paying like $2. Because 53 equals to local currency, not touristic currency. But in my pocket, I had touristic currency. And when they know you are a tourist, they don't tell you, they keep quiet. So you'll show the money and they will just keep quiet.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the biggest scam I found in Cuba. But apart from that, Cuba was very, very safe, man. Very safe. And yeah, it's a different country actually. Like it's so different. Things like Wi-Fi, man, it's like gold in Cuba. Yeah.
It's
Even
slow,
bill,
right?
it's very slow and you have to pay. Even if you're in a hotel, you have to pay for it. Even if you're in a in a park, you have to have like a scratch card where you scratch and put on your computer like some codes. That's when you use the internet. Yeah.
How much is the internet?
So it's 1 hour for $1.
1 hour,
But
$1.
but it's very slow. It's very slow. So like me, I used to upload videos. Let's say the longest video uploaded was like 10 minutes in Cuba. It took me like 6 hours to upload it.
6 hours to upload a video where it was like 10 minutes in Colombia or Mexico? Was it?
Yeah. In Colombia, actually, Colombia has better internet than even Mexico, I think so. Because like the place I used to stay, I used to stream and upload videos of like 1 hour, like in 6, 7 minutes, like it was fast speed where I used to stay. But in Cuba, it's crazy, man. Wow, Cuba is so different, and people there actually don't use the internet that much. Because I met some beautiful girls in the street, and they'll be like, "Hey, girl, give me your WhatsApp." All they have to do is write you the street number and the corner where they live. They tell you, "Hey, let's meet here at 6 p.m." So you can imagine, man.
Wait. So they don't even use WhatsApp?
Man, like WhatsApp in Cuba is like for elite, like those guys who have traveled, then they came back. Let's say like I met this one beautiful girl. When I asked her if she has a WhatsApp, she was like, "Yeah, I've traveled, I've been to Brazil." Like she bragged about it. Like it's not as like normal here. In Cuba, they have something else. I don't know. They call Amo or Emo, which they use there. It's something like WhatsApp, but it's different. So you must be Cuban to use it.
I see. Well, let
Yeah.
me ask you this: like, what did you find different with the girls in Cuba versus
Yeah.
like the women that's like in Mexico? And for those brothers that got questions, you guys know what you need to do. Get the likes up on the video. But what did you find different?
Yes, I
That
felt.
Go ahead.
So I found that the women in Cuba, it's more of a slow world, like El Mundo world. Like things are very slow there. They still love to be approached with, "Mommy." They still love that. Like that's still like a trend in Cuba. Like right here, let's say in Mexico, you call like maybe even should not look at you, even should say that's so disrespectful. But in Cuba, actually what I saw from the streets and what I experienced was actually like if you say, "Hey, mommy," you get her attention. Yeah. But what I would say is, man, I've been traveling, but the girls in Cuba, they have like the biggest assets. You know what I mean?
Really?
I'm telling you, man, I was shocked, man. Like, wow. And even you find like even white girls, mulatto, like mixed, black, man, they all have like big bumps, man. Wow.
Bigger than like Kenya?
I think maybe they'll give they'll give Kenyan or Ugandans a run of their money, man. I'm telling you, man. And you see, this is a girl like she's so beautiful. You look at her hair, she's like, man, you'll be like, damn. Yeah. And they don't know how to dress. They dress like clothes like Supreme. Like for them, they have like trending clothes. They have like if you wear Supreme, you're good. Like that's now you're chill. It's not like here, maybe people have like mean skirts and stuff. In Cuba, it's so chill. Like if I'm shining, I have something written Supreme. That's when I'm shining, you know. Yeah. Or Levi, you know. Like they wear design. And those are like the classy girls. But normally in the streets, as I was walking like in Havana, old Havana, new Havana, my life is just like so chill, man. People stay at their doorsteps. They just watch girls pass. People pass on the road. Yeah.
Let me ask you, you know, as far as approaching the girls like in Cuba versus, you know, like, because I know there are a lot of black Cubans, but maybe these women might not feel that they are also black. Like, how do black Cubans respond to you, being that you're from Africa, and how did they respond to you being black in Cuba from Africa? And what was their, you know, how did they see you as they saw themselves?
I felt like they still, even if I told them I'm from Africa, they still felt like I'm like from a rich country, because I felt many of them, like nearly 90% of the people I talked to in Cuba, nearly, except the ones that I was doing street interviews with, like just normal chats, they wanted like something from me. Like we'd talk, and when we finish, you'd be like, man, can you give me something like maybe $2 or $5 or like, yeah, man, yeah. So that's what I felt. And actually I talked to, but I felt this. I felt like the new Cuba, you know, we have like the old Havana, we have the central Havana, and we have the upper side of Havana, which is the new Havana. I felt like people in the new Havana, they were more into enlightened, like they were so independent. But from central Havana to old Havana, man, life there was tricky, man. Like it was so tricky, yeah. Actually, I stayed 1 week in the new Havana, 1 week in the old Havana, and 1 week in the central Havana, because I wanted like to experience the real Cuban life. And I would wake up in the morning like 6, be out of my bed, see what things run, like the real life, man. Yeah. And actually, like,
how did you like it? And what was the best place in out of those 3 areas that you had the most fun and got to, you know, hook up with the most?
I felt old Havana was good for me, man. Yeah, old Havana. Like it was just a chill place where you find girls walking in the streets, very beautiful girls, but they are dressed just casually. And you say, hey, what's up? And they would, man, like be so excited. Yeah. And actually, I talked to many girls in Cuba, and I felt like if, let's say, a guy is an American or you have these big passports, man, if you go to Cuba and you tell a girl I'm marrying you, man, she'd be like, oh God, God has just like, because there's even this one girl, my first video, I tried to talk to her and she was telling me, I'm only looking for a husband from the US who can take me there. Because I felt like, man, she was so beautiful, but life in Cuba was like not giving her what she wants. Yeah.
So she said she wanted to marry it. She wanted a guy from America to take her to Cuba. I mean, from Cuba to America.
Yeah, because she told me like once Donald Trump became president, everything changed. And it's funny because her whole family lives in the United States, but she's the only one left, man. And she's so beautiful. And she's working in a hostel now. She has been working for, I think, 3 years there. Yeah.
Wow. Does she have a big ass too?
She's the girl that blew. She was the first girl on my YouTube video, and everybody was like, I like her ass. She's
the one that was walking you to the room.
Exactly. That is the girl, man. Yeah.
let's talk about, and guys, do me a favor, get the likes up on the video. We got 108 people watching right now, 110. So brothers, go ahead and like the video. Let's talk about the hostel that you stayed at, you know, for some of the brothers that might want to go to Cuba. And you were in Havana, right?
Yeah, I was in Havana. I stayed in old Havana, and also I stayed in the new Havana. The new Havana, it was very costly. I was paying $2,000. I was paying $2,000 a day. Yeah. Not 2,000, no,
2000.
no, $20 a day. Sorry. I mean, $20 a day. I'm trying to change the money and stuff. Yeah, $20 a day in the new Havana.
Okay.
But the old Havana, in this hostel where I stayed, this lady was 10 a day. Yeah. So it was 10 a day.
Let me ask you this, like, when you talk about, you know, the hostels and everything like that, you know, let me ask you about the hostels. How are
Yeah.
I mean, I've never stayed in the hostel whenever I travel overseas.
Uh-huh.
But what is your impression of hostels?
I feel it's the best place to meet a girl, man. If you want to fuck some night, I think hostels are the best, man. Like me now, I have a Chinese girl. I met her in a hostel. She texts me every time when she's planning to come and see me in Mexico City. We met in a hostel in Cancun. And man, we met and we banged. Like, and now she's crazy, man. Like, she want to come back here.
Oh, you banged her?
Yeah, like we met the same day. She was traveling that night. She was traveling to Guatemala. No, Belize. Then from Belize, she was going to Guatemala. Like she had her plan already. But man, like we talked, we vibed and top. Yeah, yeah. It's the best place. Hostels are very good, man. I'm telling you. And they are cheap. And you see, if let's say you get a girl who does not want a hostel, you can find a hotel room, you know. But I feel like hotel rooms are just expensive for nothing, you know. Hostels are good, especially if you arrive. If you get a girl and she's not like very comfortable in the hostel, you find a room, you know. But if you have money, then you don't have to mind of anything. Just find a hotel. But the funny thing about hotels is you may be alone in a room, you know, because maybe everybody is new there. But in hostels, you meet people like everywhere, man. Argentinians. There are a lot of Argentinian women here in Mexico, man. Everywhere I'm going, like.
What are the Argentinian women doing in Mexico? I mean, like usually,
Man, I think they come here to look for foreigners, man. I'm telling you, they come here to look for foreigners. I'm telling you, like in Playa de Carmel. I've been living in Mexico. This town is called Playa de Carmel. 70% of the women are Argentinian. 70%. Even there are no Mexican there, man. Like they left. Yeah.
let me ask you this, as
Yeah.
far as your experience in Cuba.
Yes.
Did you feel like you experienced any form of like racism? Anybody hating on you because you're from Africa? Or
Actually,
have you experienced that in, you know, since you've been in Mexico also, or what, you know, what has been your perception?
I think Cuba is the best place to stay as a black guy. Yeah. Like actually you blend and you fit. Because you know, I'm a black guy. Sometimes when I walk in the streets at night, maybe I'm alone, I'll see people like trying to hold their bags, like they would hold their bags. Maybe if it's a lady, maybe she'll try to change the position. If it was here, she'll try to bring it here. But man, in Cuba, I was walking like midnight in the streets, man, like super dark, and white girls, white people, they would just walk next. They don't care. Like it was so chill, man. I didn't feel. But you see, like other countries, even Colombia, you walk as a black guy, you'll feel that small tension. But they'll not like show you like boom. But you'll feel that kind. But in Cuba, I didn't feel it, man. And I stayed in Cuba for 3 weeks. And every night I went out, I went to the streets where people don't go. I like filmed every corner of Havana. And I'm telling you, man, I think actually Cuba, they are not racist. But I felt this. Most of the kids I saw being born were mixed race. Yeah, most of the kids I saw there were mixed race. Like I never saw like many black kids being born or many white kids being born. It was a mix of kids, like mixed. Even I used to see like children going to school. I would see, and I realized, man, things here are very different. Yeah.
Okay, I understand. Let me talk about and shout out to Casper. Let's talk about something as far as because people want to know, like, if you're staying for 3 weeks, and I know like your budget.
Yeah.
When I, like, for example, when I went to Brazil, I spent a
Yeah.
whole lot of money, like more than I would love to spend. But I spent a lot of money in in South Africa. Not really so much, but I spent enough.
Mhm.
Can you talk to me about, like, what was your budget that you had when you were in, like, Cuba, and like how much money do you think you spent in like for food and things like that?
So actually, it's funny, man. This is really funny. Leaving Mexico to Cuba, I had $500 with me. Then I had like 2,000 Mexican pesos just in my bag. So my plan was I take this $500 to Cuba, and once I'm in Cuba, I can directly get money from their ATMs, their
Mhm.
money. But this was now the funny part, man. When I went to Cuba, all my cards did not function.
Oh shit!
Yeah, all my cards. So number one is, man, if you're going to Cuba, don't even think of taking money from an ATM. Just have all the money with you together like this. If you want to put it in a socks, you want to put it anywhere, man, or you want to create some zip and just zip them. Yeah, man, like just have your money, cash money with you. Because Cuba is a place where you go sometimes in the ATMs, there are no money, and you'll be like, no money today. And you ask, when is it coming? They say, we don't know. That's how Cuba is, man. And people, they actually don't care about that. People in Cuba are so chill. You'll be like, man, internet, you'll be complaining. But everybody's like chill. You'll be like, wow. So am I the only one feeling this? It's because maybe we are used to this other type of life. But in Cuba is very different. So actually what happened is after that, and nobody can send you money to Cuba unless you're a Cuban and you have family in Cuba, or you're Cuban or you have family in Cuba. Let's say, like, if you have a girlfriend in Cuba, you can't send her money. You can't, unless you are married with her legally.
Wow.
Oh, so what people do is, let's say, like me, what's really happened is, I had a friend who is a YouTuber. His name is Richard Wells. Yeah, let me give him a shout out. Somebody maybe watching
Okay.
it. So I told Richard my situation, and he was like, let me try sending you money. And when he was sending me money from the US government would ask him, is he your brother? Is he your sister? Is he your cousin? Like, the US cannot give you that option of saying, is he your friend? Nothing. It gives you
Oh, I
like
see.
strict options. And even they ask you, are you sure you're sending this money to push the communism agenda or the communist agenda in Cuba or stuff? Man, it's crazy. So I told this guy, send this money to Colombia, because he was sending me $500. Once it's in Colombia, then a friend from Colombia will send it to me through Western Union. But once it was in Colombia, the guy told me Colombia cannot allow money to be sent to Cuba through Western Union. And actually, even the Cuban government cannot allow me to receive money in Cuba as a foreigner. So if you're going there,
Wow.
it cannot, man. Like, it cannot. So what I did is I told this guy in Colombia, and I talked to the guy I stayed with. He had an uncle in the US. So the guy in Colombia sent money to the uncle in the US, and the uncle in the US sent his nephew. Then the nephew was the guy I was living in. Then he gave me the money. So I lost like 30% of the whole sum of money. Yeah. So that is one thing you should know. You should know, actually. Yeah. Even I feel like one day I'll make a video on my YouTube channel about things I wish I knew before I went to Cuba.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me let me do something real quick. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Listen, some of you niggas come into the chat asking dumbass questions that are already been answered. Like, for example, this nigga, ACEO Union, where's the brother from Cuba? Damn, dude. Like, for real? I mean, y'all niggas don't come in here asking no stupid ass shit. Okay, no stupid. Learn how to read. Are the women in Cuba as beautiful as advertised? What in the fuck does that got to do? Some of y'all niggas are dumb. I hate to say it. Stupid. Go home, go stand in the corner, and think about what the fuck you typing in the chat. You done got me mad. I got my boy over here. Okay, we trying to help you motherfucking niggas, and you come here asking stupid ass shit. This is exactly why your brain is jelly and peanut butter. I don't want to have to tell you niggas again. God damn, some of y'all niggas are dumb. It was 2 questions. I was asking where is this brother from. No, you didn't ask it, you dumb motherfucker. What you said was, where's the brother from Cuba? How is that the same thing as asking where he's from? Nigga, I know how to read and write. I'm sorry, brother. I got some of my fellow African Americans. We struggling right now, player. So yeah, you know how niggas are. They make you do this shit. So you need to get the likes up, man. Yeah. I need 22 people to like the video and go and subscribe to my brother. I'm sorry, but let me go back to this real quick.
Yeah.
All right. So
let me pick my phone. Yeah.
Bring the money with you.
Yes.
When you bring the cash. Okay, so how much, if you could go back over again your budget and shit, like was food expensive? Did you buy any I mean, I'm sorry. Yeah, was there prostitution going on out there, player? I mean, brother.
Yeah, there's a lot of prostitution in Cuba, man. A lot of prostitution, and they hit on you. Even I made one video where girls were confessing, man, like they were saying the money they want. I don't know if you saw that video, man. There is a video on YouTube called Love for Sale, Cuba, Realities of Cuba.
Wait, it's called Love for Sale? Hold on, player. Let me check that out.
Love for Sale in Cuba. And the girls say it like they say how much it costs, and it's crazy. And they hit on you. Yeah, Love for Sale, Cuba, Realities of Cuba.
I mean, not that I'm gonna go out there and buy no coochie, but I'm just gonna see what's working, what they're working with. Let me ask you this, man. You know, was they trying to sell you some of that stuff, brother? And how much was? I mean, not to say that you bought anything or nothing like that. But
wait, just check the video. Like the video has crazy information. Even people hate on me because of the video, man. They tell me even I should have like covered their face. But the girls said everything. And actually, my question was not that. My question was just.
Oh, like, you made the video on your channel?
Yeah, like Love for Sale in Cuba. And the girls like said it like openly, man. And it has like, I think it has over 100,000 views.
Oh, yeah. Shit. Hold on, wait, let me go. Oh, I see it. Love for Sale the video that has like 3 minutes.
Yeah, that is the video. Yeah, that's the video, man. It's so crazy.
Let me. I'm gonna check this out. Hotep. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now let me ask you this. I mean, so prostitution, is it legal in Cuba or is it like an illegal thing?
Actually, like I saw these girls, you know, like I was a foreigner and they would hit on me. Actually, they know foreigners. They know how you behave. They know where you sit. They see you if you don't have groups. They come, they pass there, man. And at some point, I remember, and there are these parts of the internet where you have to, if you want to use the internet, you go to this part. So that's where you find like women come there, man. Like all types, beautiful, young, old, mixed, men, just name any. So when you're in the internet, you're surfing like this, you're with your phone, you'll see like girls passing. If you just say hola, that is it.
I said it's hola, huh?
That is it, man. You got what you wanted. Yeah. So it was really, really crazy, man. And when I made this video, the girls said $30, anything from 30 and above, you get it. But I know from what I saw, it's because even I was a foreigner. Locals get it from even $10, $20. Yeah, it's crazy, man. I'm telling you. And like beautiful girls, not just like girls, but beautiful girls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So in comparison to like Colombia, is the process? I heard, you know, it's a lot of dudes, you know, they do go to Colombia, you know, for that.
Yeah.
Do you think in on average that the women are beautiful more in Cuba are in Colombia?
Man, I'll go with Colombia, man. Hey, Colombia is a different place, man. Wow, Colombia. Colombia, you go to a club, let's say not even a strip club, just a normal club, you'll find like 60 women, and they are all like coming and touching your dick, like they're passing like this. Man, it's that place. Actually, I didn't want like to show that on my videos because I was living in Colombia and I still like want to go back to Colombia because I think the government maybe would ban me or something like that. But I'm telling you, Colombia is a different world, man. And like me, when I have to say this, I have to confess this, man. Like when I was in Colombia, I used to have like threesome, even with girlfriends. Like it's crazy. Like Colombia is just a crazy place, man.
You said
like,
you used to have threesomes.
Man, I'm telling you, I swear before God, man. Like Colombia, man. Yeah, sometimes, and not just girls, but beautiful Latin girls, man. Like you'd be like, oh man, what did I just do to have this? It's crazy. Colombia, oh man. You know, I feel like people know Colombia for like 2 weeks, but I lived in Colombia for 2 years, man. I know like deep down, if you want to find this, if you want to go here, if you want to do this, Colombia is magical, man. Colombia, I would rate Cuba and Colombia in terms of like everything. In terms of girls, Colombia will hit a 9.5 and Cuba will be like a 7.5. Yeah.
Okay.
But this 9.5 is strong, hitting a 10, this Colombia, yeah. Because Colombia, if you want girls from Venezuela, they are there. If you want girls from this, like Paisa girls from Medellin, they are there. If you want girls from Bogota who are like smart, they have like watches on their breasts, they are there. If you want girls who speak English, they are there. If you want just a girl to just have fun with, they are there. If you want like prostitutes, they are like crazy, man. Colombia. Ooh. Colombia is a different place, man. And especially if you know somebody who knows it. You know, people go to Colombia and they just walk in the streets, they see like this. Man, I'm telling you, there are places you go in Colombia and you see women, you'll be like, oh, these are those girls I see on like maybe porn magazines, or maybe I see them and I'd be like, oh, these girls from the internet. You know, imagine I was from Africa, man, and I arrived in Colombia and I was exposed to this life. I was like, damn, man. So me, I'm like, wow, these are the girls I see on the internet. You know, if you tell somebody like, this is my girlfriend, they'll be like, no, you downloaded this photo from the internet. Man, so those girls, I was like, man, like mingling with them. Colombia is crazy, man. Like Colombia is boom. And you know, Colombia life is cheap. It's not like pushing you so hard.
Mm-hmm.
If you make like $800 a month in Colombia, man, you live like a king.
$800 a month, player?
I was making $500 and I survived with that money. Not even I lived, man, because I had like a nice room, nice bed, television. A room in Colombia goes for like 150. Like that's a nice room with a television. You know, not like, you know, the problem is what I saw, because when I was in Colombia, a lot of Americans used to come there. Not even just Americans, a lot of my subscribers, they want like a whole lounge. They want like a whole building and like the ball, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I understood, because maybe from where they come from, maybe their economy is good, or they're used to like hard paying more money for like things. Colombia, man, you get a small room with a bed, with like a television, with a shower, hot shower, man. Internet is fast. All you have to do, man, is bring that girl, man. Yeah, it's crazy. But a lot of women, I think prostitution in Colombia, man, is very, very high. Super high, man. Super high. Yeah.
Let me just do this real quick, guys. I want to thank you. Go ahead. I'm sorry. What were you saying, Mark?
Because in Colombia, prostitution is legal, not illegal.
Uh-huh.
Cuba is illegal, but the illegal where people are like, it's okay, it's, you know, that illegal type where it's 50, like it's illegal, it's not illegal, it's, you know, but Colombia, it's illegal, man. Like 6 a.m. you'll find girls in the streets waiting for clients. 8 a.m. you'll find girls in the street with not in the like hidden streets, like main roads in Colombia, man. Like it's except like Bogota. Oh man, that's crazy.
Bogota was good, huh?
But for me, it's my favorite city actually. You know, people like to go to Medellin, but I always tell people, don't go to Medellin, man. But if it's your first time in Colombia, it's good to go just to see and experience. But if it's your second, third time in Colombia, or you're staying in Colombia for long, Bogota is the place to be, man. I'm telling you, Bogota is cheap. It's expensive, but you know, if you're coming from these big countries, it's very cheap. Or if you make $800 a month, man, you're good.
Okay, okay. Shout out to my brothers K Love for the followers, for the super chat. Pedro the IT man got me learning Spanish so I can trick in Colombia. And y'all can know, you know what I'm saying, when I bring on a big time YouTuber, I always, you know what I mean, try to, you know, give them a donation for coming on to talk to us. And the reason why I do that is to try to keep brothers to keep wanting to come over here and do the exclusive. So so I don't think all you people from supporting, you guys don't know how important that is. When you guys support me, I actually are able to support other YouTubers. Like I was able to break Rhyme off a little something. I'm gonna give my boy Mara a donation for coming over and answering questions for us and collaborating with us. So, brothers, thank you so much for all the support. Do me a favor, hit the like button. We got 90 likes, 4 dislikes. Let me ask you, as far as the as far as the food that you were eating in Colombia, like, not Colombia, but in Cuba, was the food expensive? Was the travel expensive? How do you get around? How do you get from A to B? Is there Uber or things like that?
In Cuba,
Yes.
or in Colombia. Okay.
In
So
Cuba.
in Cuba, actually, if you are staying in Havana, you don't need like to move around. I think the most expensive taxi that I took was from the airport to my place where I was staying, and also from the place I was staying to the airport. That's where you pay like $20 for that taxi. But within the city, as long as you can speak a little Spanish, is like $5 at most within the city. Yeah. And the food in Cuba is not that fresh, actually. That's the problem. You know, like they don't. I didn't see a lot of like fridge and stuff. So I used to eat food, but I would get problems with my stomach. So even I was opting. But if you go to big hotels, good hotels, you'll find like the best food. But just in the streets, as I was walking, you go to those small restaurants, because I told you I stayed like in old Havana and also central Havana. There things are not so good in terms of like nice food you're gonna like enjoy and feel like, wow, this food. No. But if you go to big hotels, or you try to get out of the city a little bit, like in the small suburbs, you may find good food. But in the city, I didn't find it so nice as that. But Colombia wins again at that point. Yeah. But Cuba is good. You know, Cuba, if you go with like positive energy, knowing like things are not what you expect. Let's say like internet is slow, so you go with that mind already like prepared, like you are ready for it. It will become very nice for you. But if you go with this American or maybe a foreign type of like vibe, like you are always on your WhatsApp or on your phone trying to see who texted you, Cuba is not that place. Yeah.
But let me also ask you this, because a lot of our brothers, African American dudes that watch this show, and shout out to Dr. Chris for the $2 super chat player. I appreciate you. A lot of us cannot really speak Spanish. I know you can speak Spanish.
Yeah.
And me, like, the reason why I live in Poland right now, and it's kind of hard for me living in Poland, because I get kind of tired of being in a place where I can't really speak the language. So I know when I went to Brazil a few months ago, I went to Brazil actually last month. Actually, no, 2 months ago, I went in May.
Yeah.
I was in Brazil in May, and nobody spoke English in Rio de Janeiro at all. So, for those brothers who cannot speak any English or Spanish, do you know how hard will it be for them? And did you run into any Americans, in Cuba that you saw? Or
so actually, what I would say is, man, if you want to travel to these Latin American countries and you really want to have like variety of experiences, not just like meeting one girl, or just like, if you want really like to live, man, at least, man, try to learn Spanish, at least. Sometimes you may have the money, but the money will be like disappearing quickly because you don't speak Spanish. And even on my channel, I always tell people, please try to, even if people comment, I end up saying, try to learn the basic Spanish, because I meet people saying, I'm going to Colombia, I'm going to Cuba. But man, if you speak a little Spanish, that really helps a lot. One thing is, like Colombia, the girls are very shy if you speak a foreign language, very shy.
Why do you think they're shy if you speak a foreign language?
They just don't want to. They just don't want to feel like they don't know. You know, they like ashamed. You know. But this is like me. This was like I've made a lot of videos from, let's say, Colombia. You can start with that English to ignite the girl, to tell her, you know, I'm not from here. You know, also that sells. You know, when you say, you know, I'm from America, or I'm from Norway, I'm from, you know, that sells also, because you're meeting this girl who like wants to meet a foreign guy. So if you say, hello, what's up? And you see the girl smiling and she's like shying off, and you say, ¿Cómo estás? You know, like you start with English and quickly shift to Spanish. She'll smile and stay. But if you just say Spanish, like me, my first year in Colombia was really difficult, because man, I would meet like crazy beautiful girls we've danced with in a club, and I've given them my numbers, they have given me, but man, the following day, I cannot communicate. I cannot even call them. I cannot. So I use this translator. It helped me a lot. So I think if you really don't speak any English, try to use translators. But you see, the problem is, if you are in Cuba, the internet is not everywhere, so you cannot use a translator. You see, like, let's say I'm in Mexico or I'm in Colombia. If a girl is talking, I tell her right here, then I translate immediately. So once I translate, I can show the girl, check this, check what I'm saying. She can respond back. But in Cuba, there's no internet unless you are in a park. Yeah. And even the most beautiful girls, you'll not find them in the parks. They will be somewhere in the streets of Havana, old Havana, like, yeah. And it's crazy. In Cuba, nearly 90% of the women, especially girls that are not like working and stuff, they wear clothes which are revealing. Like you'll see pant lines, you'll see a lot of pants, man. They're like, man, it's crazy what I saw in Cuba, man. Like you'll see girls walking, but you'll see everything, man. Like it's like a fashion in Cuba for women. Old, young, everybody. You'll see like the butt, they're exposing and you see the pant lines everywhere. Yeah. You know, I filmed some of the videos, but you know, sometimes when you post such videos, people will be like, I think you are a pervert or you are this. But that's like the reality on the ground, you know, when you show people reality, like this is really what's happening. Yeah, sometimes people call you're a pervert, you're this. Yeah, man, it's crazy. But Cuba had really good, beautiful girls. And the good thing is, for a black guy in Cuba, you fit in like boom. Colombia, you are black, but you have to fight to fit in. You'll be like, hey, what's up? You have to make that girl comfortable. You have to make her like feel she's dealing with somebody different, and she feels it. But Cuba, they don't feel that, you know? Yeah.
Okay.
But I'll say it all depends with your game. Even if you're black or white or stuff, it all depends with your game. Like me in Colombia, some other black people have problems finding girlfriends there. But for me, actually when I lost my job and my visa was canceled, I had like 15 days left. Every day I had a girl in my room, like every day, not just a girl, but a beautiful girl.
In Bogota, yeah?
In Bogota, yeah, in Bogota.
Well, let me ask you this. What were the asses out, you know, I got to ask, what were the asses like in Bogota working with, man? Was they, you know?
You know, Colombia is not a place you go, especially in Bogota, to look for asses, man. Colombia is just the face and beautiful smile, slim girls. Yeah. But if you want some beautiful, like, asset girls, you go to the coast where it's a mix. You'll find blacks, you'll find, yeah, like Cartagena. But I never went to Cartagena because, man, my job had put me in a fix. I used to work like 8 hours a day, 6 days a week. So I
couldn't go.
So I couldn't, man, like, and it was a private thing. So private, you have to be there even if it's a holiday because they want to make money.
Let me kind of do this because I know you lived in Tanzania. Shout out to my brother Aaron Ferris, man. You know, me and him talk, you know, a whole lot. Shout out to Wake the Hell Up, you know what I'm saying? Seeing my good brothers out here. Let me ask you this because you lived in Tanzania, man. And August, you know, Ghana Den, he said, you know, I talked to Wode Maya. Yeah. You know, we both know Wode Maya, that's a mutual friend of ours. I was gonna go to Ghana last month, and Wodima was like, "Nah, man, I'm going to Ghana. Yo, come to Ghana, fuck with me. I'm coming." So I'm gonna go to Accra, Ghana, and see Wodima. But
Yeah.
talk to me about Tanzania. Like when you talk about the booty that was out in
Yeah.
Cuba, for some of the
Yeah.
brothers who and you lived in Tanzania for some time, right?
Yeah. 6 months actually. 6 months.
Okay, was Tanzania type of was it cheap or expensive or
And actually, my home is a walking distance to Tanzania. Yeah. My home is a walking distance. I'll tell you this, man. Like, if you wanna meet a humble and wife, that wife who will wash your clothes, wash your socks, do everything you want as a man, it's Tanzania. Yeah, Tanzania. And the girls there are super romantic and they are super, super good in bed, man. Like the whole region of East Africa, we know Tanzania takes the lead.
wow?
Yeah, I'm telling you. If you want that woman who just stay in the house, clean your house, do everything, those are Tanzanian girls. Because for them, they don't like to study. They just want to be like households. Yeah. And a lot of Kenyan men go for those girls because why? Kenya, we are more of like elite. We try to make ourselves more like American, like we are stylish. We are like, we know like more. But Tanzania is that country which is like, no, actually Tanzania, the behavior I saw in Cuba was more of Tanzania actually. Like I would relate a little bit. There was a lot of like similarities in terms of women, how people like take life easy. And they're really beautiful girls. You can find actually like mixed races in Tanzania, even in Kenya, but Tanzania you'll find them a lot in the coast. Because a long time ago it was the Arabs and Africans who intermarried. So you have this mixed races like in Tanzania, man, and they're so beautiful. And even maybe if I want to marry an African girl, I don't know, man. I'll choose a girl from Tanzania than even my own country, Kenya. Yeah.
Shout out to my brother Aaron Ferris. He asked, so they speak English in Tanzania? I'll let you go ahead and answer that.
So they really don't speak a lot of English as compared to Kenyan. Yeah, they speak Swahili, Swahili, jambo, habari yako, hakuna matata. That is Swahili. So, and even their Swahili is so like fluent Swahili. So they don't speak much English, but you'll find some who speak English. Yeah. But they're really good asses, man. Like if you want to see some good, crazy assets, Tanzania, man. Kenya has it, but Kenya it's more of this elite squad. The girls like try to want to have iPhones and stuff. Tanzania, they don't even care about that. They want just a smartphone. It could be anything.
So if you want a lot of big asses, you can go to Tanzania. And is it cheaper as far as, I know the internet's not cool out there, but I know
Tanzania,
is it cheap as far as the food and going out to eat like that in comparison to, let's say, Cuba Colombia or Mexico?
Tanzania is very, very cheap. Very cheap, man. Like me, for example, in a hostel, on a very like normal hostel, I'll pay $10 a night. $10 a night in Tanzania, man, is like you have your own room, you have your own, man, even in Kenya, even in my own country, and you're sleeping next to the beach. $10. I'm telling you, man. Because I lived in Tanzania for 6 months. It was a long time ago, but I still know the economy of these countries. Like even my family lives like I think 5 kilometers from Tanzania. Yeah, we're actually at the border. Even my grandmother from my mom's side is Tanzanian. So even my aunts are married in Tanzania. Like I speak from experience, man. Yeah.
Okay.
But they are really good women in Tanzania. They are well behaved. Those women that if you actually you see like being a man, how people say, like America, I see they say, oh, you don't talk to a woman like, hey, do this, do this. But Tanzanian girls, they want that. Like tell them like, hey, babe, you'll stay, do this, and that's what they do, man. And even if they give you water to wash your hands, they kneel, man. And you may think it's a joke, but after this, just Google and see. They kneel, and you have to drink the water. Once you finish, that's when they rise up. Man, it's crazy, man. And they're the most respectful country and very cool. Yeah. They are very, very cool, like chill, not arrogant. It's Tanzania. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Let me do this. Guys, get the likes up. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you, brothers, for what you guys are, doing and everything like that. So, brothers, go ahead and get the likes up and everything. Let me sandals and backsides. Let's talk about Mexico. I mean, where are you currently at right now?
I'm in Mexico City, yeah, but I've traveled to the biggest cities, not biggest cities, but biggest towns of Mexico, except Tijuana and Guadalajara, which are on my hit list. Yeah.
Okay.
But apart from those two cities, I've been to Playa del Carmel, I've been to Cancun, I've been to Tulum, I've been to Bacalar, Chichen Itza, where there are pyramids. But actually, those areas you don't see a lot of Mexican. In Mexico City, man, that's when I've met like a lot of Mexican. Like I swipe on my Tinder. I should bring my phone here and maybe show you some Tinder. we can try to see. We can try to see these girls if they are beautiful. Like you can see it directly, you know.
In Mexico City.
Yeah, Mexico City, man. And 3 days ago, I was walking in the street and two girls hit on me, man. Like, and even if you see my last video I created, there are this group of girls, like they were singing for me on the road. Like they are so excited with black guys, man. Even today, I swear, I was walking in the street with some girl, and another girl came and like, man, I want to take a photo with you, please. Like it's so crazy. In a club where I was filming my last video, the manager of the club was hitting on me, man. And not because like I'm tall, I don't have muscles, I don't have anything, man. It's just because I'm a black guy. Like here, people get so excited, except like Mexico City. That's what I've felt from so far my experience, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But people like I'm staying right now in a very poshy area. They call it Roma Norte. I didn't know even it was poshy until when I invite girls here. That's when they say, "Oh, you're staying in this area. You are a rich guy." And me, I didn't know that, man. Like me, I looked on Facebook. I saw this building. I was like, "No, it looks cool. Let me go stay there." But I realized also, man, in Mexico, you cannot compare the girls of Mexico with Colombia, man. Me, I love Colombia not just because of the girls. Like everything, man. Like everything, yeah. You know, Colombia, if you wanna like you say this weekend I'm gonna fuck, you'll fuck. Like it's not something you'll be like you're chasing, you're pulling strings. No, man.
It's just going down.
Yeah, it goes down. Like you have many options. You can do this, you can do this, you can do this. But you know, sometimes the problem is if you're a black guy and you go to Colombia and you have no connection. I try to think how it is because you'd be alone in a room, you'd be like thinking, where should I start from this? So I always advise people when they want to go to these countries, I try to connect with people on the ground, man. At least one or two, you know, they can show you around. They can tell you, no, don't pay this. This is a steal. Do this, you know. Yeah. Because I feel like a lot of people go to Colombia or to these countries and they get stuck in their rooms. Like, okay, I'm here. So what next? I always tell people.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I always tell people to be a little aggressive. Aggressive, I don't mean you beat people or you fight. I just mean stand out. Like, that's a beautiful guy walking. Go and say, hola, mami, que pasó? Like, give her the vibe, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what I do. And, man, I've never been disappointed, man. I'm telling you.
Let me also ask you, I'm going to ask you this real quick with respect to racism, like in Mexico. Like, I mean, I know, like I was talking about here in Poland, if you're a black dude and you're with a white woman, it could be, I would think, this is like, it could be a very dangerous place for you, with in many things. But how do the people, how do the people in Mexico, like if you're dating a Mexican chick, or let's say in Colombia, do people really have an issue with you doing that? Is there a problem with you walking around with Mexican girls?
Yeah, like today I was working with this girl, we were making some video. She was not that beautiful, like maybe she would shake, but sometimes like I was in Playa and I met this like really, really beautiful girl. Like even the Mexican guys can't even have her. Like she was crazily beautiful, man. I wish even my phone was around. Maybe I could show you her WhatsApp. But I felt like people give you more attention than expected. Even just me walking alone, people would look at me here in Mexico. Like sometimes I would go out, walk, and you'd see people looking at you. And this is the funny thing. When they look at me, I look at them and they shy off. That's what I do. But the good thing is a big city. So when you're in these big cities, people really don't care about like what you're doing. Like in Colombia, man, in Colombia, the teacher I used to work with, she was like to carry me on her motorbike. We used to go to, even people thought she was my girlfriend, which actually wasn't. But people had no problem actually, like nothing, zero. But there's this one girl, man, like she was really close to me and she introduced me to her family. After a week, she cut my communication. I felt like the family talked her out of it, you know? Yeah, that's what I felt.
Why do you think the family cut you out of it? Why do you think that could have happened?
You know, I always feel like as Black people, we are always like viewed to be the bad guys or the poor guys, or we are always viewed it from that television agenda, you know, that perspective. And even all the girls I've had, I've always tried to tell them not to view me in that way. But the problem again in Mexico, I realized this is in Mexico. Girls just want to fuck with you. Like they just want to fuck with you just because you're a Black guy. And even, yeah, I go out, I meet girls, I have many ways to meet girls, but I feel like in Mexico, girls just want to use you for sex because you're just a Black guy. Yeah, that's very true, man.
That seems to be a good problem to be getting used for sex. So let me do this, guys. Get the likes up real quick, brothers. And you guys know, let's see what time it is. It's 2:21 a.m. So let me do something real quick. So I know that shout out to Ricardo. Ricardo, he donated $250 by PayPal. Sorry to my brothers in England. They got put out the World Cup by Croatia, so it's going to be France and Croatia in the World Cup, right?
Yeah.
So shout out to that. But you know what, man, I'm about to cut it a little short, man, because it's 2:21. I got to be in class in a few hours, man.
Oh man. Yeah.
So it's late here in Poland, but definitely we got 192 watching. Now y'all want to come through with all the stuff, man, with all the people. So guys, like the video, but. Again, Mar, I appreciate you, coming through, man. I wish I could stay up a little longer, but unfortunately, I'm living in Poland, so the time is far. So I have to,
I feel sorry for you, man.
I have the worst schedule, man, that anybody could have. I'm doing these. I keep up with the shows.
Yeah,
I gotta do my studies. I gotta run the site.
Yeah,
I gotta put stuff out on Patreon.
Thank you for having me. We shall do more, man. Now I'm in this. Like I rented this place for 1 month, so I'm trying to settle because my life has been like running. I'm in this hostel. I'm here, but I want to settle like for 1 month. Then now travel again. So we shall do maybe next week another one time like this.
Yeah. We can do it. In fact, I want to do like a African versus African American thing soon. And the reason why I'm saying that is because now you were close to how do you like in Mexico? Have you ever thought about like, wow, I'm like so close to the United States. I really want to go to the United States. Have you ever thought about trying to apply for a visa to get to the USA?
Yeah, actually, I was thinking about it, but last night I was watching documentaries, man. I saw like people trying to go to the US and how difficult it is. And even I feel like being just from Africa, they will like get fear. I feel they'll fear about that. But what I should say is this, man. If you're a Black guy and you have like an American passport, a Canadian passport, man, you have a whole world in your hands like this, man. Like you can travel to any country with like less visa problem. I should challenge you, man. Look, like I'm a Black African guy, just like you're an African guy. And you say you have more problems than me. And man, I travel with my Kenyan passport. Look, it's here, man. And I cross these borders, man, like crazy. I cross them like crazy with my Kenyan passport, man.
Right.
So if you have an American, like me, I always say, man, if I had an American passport, I don't know, man. This world, I'll like be crossing it. Like every week I'll be in like countries like Ukraine, like where, like Europe, like, So I challenge all guys who like feel bad, just being like dismotivated. I don't know how to say that. Man, it's time, man. Just wake up, do your thing, yeah. Yeah. I always challenge people because it's funny when I read comments saying, hey bro, what's up? I'm from the UK. I'm a black guy. How can I travel? I don't have even some other guys from the US would tell me I don't have even a passport. And I'll feel bad, man. I'll feel like, come on, man. I wish you knew the opportunity you guys have and you utilize it. You know, I feel like American guys have like, as long as you have that passport, you have the power in your hands, man. You can go to Cuba, pick a girl. You can go to Colombia, pick a girl. You can go to Ecuador. You can go to, man, like, you can go to Brazil. Like, you have the options, man. Me, I have to show my bank account. I have to show flight tickets. I have to show everything, proof of funds, you know. So, man, I challenge you, man. I really challenge you, yeah. I don't mean you, but the viewer, you know. I challenge the viewers.
Yeah, man. So I mean, you know, it's good that you've inspired. You know, there was a one dude, Tony International. He's paralyzed, and I did an interview with him, and he said, man, he's been inspired by your channel to travel. So you know,
Yeah,
shout out to Tony International. He talks about, you know, how you inspired him to
yeah,
to want to get out and do stuff. This is a brother that's paralyzed from the waist down, and he
yeah,
watches all your videos and stuff like that. So you know, a lot of African American men, they know who you are. They know your channel.
yeah.
You have a lot of African American male fans. So I just want to
Yeah,
thank you.
actually, yeah, 50% of my viewers are from the US, actually. Yeah, 50% of my viewers.
You know what? Here's the thing, right? Like Wode Maya made a video about
Yeah,
African Americans, and it was a little negative, you know.
yeah.
So you know me, I'm an African American, and so you know I wasn't going to take that line down. So I made a response video to that.
Uh,
And so the other day we went. I told him how to do a hangout, and
yeah.
like the super chats, like when he went live, they were all coming from like for the most part all African American people.
Oh, wow,
So I was
man.
like, man, you know, you talk shit about us. I said, well, where are your Ghanaians, man? I don't see anybody donating in Ghanaian CDs over here, you know. So
Yeah, even me actually, but I think my channel nowadays it has like all faces. People donate from Asia, from
mhm.
Japan. Even I was checking like an analysis. I got people watching me from North Korea, man. I was like, damn, is it the gov? I swear. You know where you go and check like who watches in which countries? I found people from North Korea watching me, man. Like it was like, damn.
Wow.
Yeah. It was so crazy. Yeah. Yeah, I just challenge every man. I'm from Africa. My dad is not like a prime minister. I don't have a diplomatic passport. Man, but I'm here, man, and I'm moving. I'm moving. Like nothing is stopping me. And you have that passport heavy, man. I call the American passport heavy. That passport can take you anywhere, man. You can go to Bali, you can go to Indonesia, Philippines, you can go anywhere, Panama, name it.
Anywhere. Yeah.
Anywhere, man. You know.
Yeah, anywhere, brother. So again, I want to, you know, again, thank you for coming by, man, to bless us with some of the knowledge. Thank you, brothers. For those people want to know who is the guest YouTubers channel, so you know, it's his link is in the description, guys. You know, go into the description. His name is
Yeah,
I am
thank
underscore
you.
Mara. It's the, you know, if you type that same name in, you know, it's there. So guys, thank you so much. I appreciate you for coming on. You know,
I
thank you
appreciate
again, I am Mara. Any last words you want to say to these brothers, man?
I just want to say, man, I know growing as a black guy, we have like our own problems, especially what the media has already portrayed us to be. It's just you, man. It's in your mind. It's either you cry with what the media says, you hang on it and say, oh, you know, they said I cannot do this. They said I can't do this. Or you say, you know, I don't believe in that. I'm doing my thing and I'm proving it. And you'll be like, I'm gone. You know, like if you want to go to Brazil, you'll be like, you know, I'm saving for it and I'm doing it. So it's about you, man. It's not about who we are. Nobody chooses his color. Don't feel bad. You know, sometimes people feel like, oh, and stuff and stuff. Man, I'm a very proud African. You know, I was in Colombia and there were some African guys, they would say they are black Americans. You understand? Or they
Mhm.
would say they are British African. Like they will not say they are Africans. But
Mhm.
me, I'll tell the guys I'm African, and still they would vibe with me, man. You know, the other guys felt, the other boys from like Africa, they would say they are British American just to elevate themselves, you know, to like, you know,
here in Poland too.
You know, exactly.
Guys.
But I'm telling you, man, because they know if you say Africa, they'll be like, whoa, shit, man, people are dying with hunger, a lot of wars. I tell every girl I'm African, man. And I tell them, if you want me or if you want to be with me, I'm going to take you to Africa. So just be proud who you are, man. And once you accept yourself and you know it's you and you and you to drive, you are the bus driver, you decide which road to take, man, everything will happen, man. Yeah. And just a good example, man. Like I started YouTube in a foreign land, like where I didn't start YouTube in Kenya, in a foreign land, man, where people don't speak even the same language. From 0 subscribers, man, up to today, I have like 14 million views. I'm like, damn, man. Yeah. So you can do it, man. Don't sit in a couch and cry and say racism in my country or the system is against us. Man, do something, man. Look for opportunities. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? That's funny because me, you, and Wode Maya all are. Shout out to my boy at Fly School. What's good, family? $20. Thank you so much, brother. Good to see you, man. Appreciate you. Me, Wode, Maya, you, we all kind of blew up on YouTube outside of our original land. I'm from the USA. I moved to Poland.
Yeah.
Wode's in China, and you are in, Colombia or Mexico. So that's why I think me, you, and him share that because, we were practically, not doing the same thing in our own countries, but we came to a place, that we had to make it and kind of,
man,
and found the opportunity. So, you brothers, man, in America also can do the same thing, man. We're really pushing for y'all. And so
I want people to travel. Yeah, I want people to travel. I realize when you travel, you see things in a different way. You see, you realize, oh man, this is not true what I've been believing in, or oh, this is how things are, man. And don't be fearful. You don't need a friend for you to go a place. You don't need I have to be with my best friend to go to Cuba. Go alone, man. You're a man. Do it. Yeah, man. I travel with zero knowledge of where I'm going, but I know my destination is Mexico City. I have no hostel. I have nothing. I've not booked anything, and I go. And man, when I'm there, 2-3 days, everything is calm, man, and I'm taking over. So you just decide. Yeah, I'll challenge you because I sometimes I see the comments like our black brothers write me. They tell me, man, life has been difficult for me here. I've been trying to do this. Every time I'm planning, it's not happening. Man, just do it. Yeah, just do it.
So y'all heard him. Just do it. So guys, thank you. Geo Scholar says, you just got a new subscriber, me. So shout out to you guys, man. Thanks for supporting them. Again, we'll have you back, bro. And I did, drop a little something to you on PayPal. Ain't much, because I know you're rich now.
Yeah, thank you.
But I just want to let you know that we do appreciate you. This is not even from me; it's from all of us. You know what I'm saying? Like when you come over, we wanted to let you know that we appreciate you coming and spending your time with us, telling your experience, and our African American.
I also really appreciate, man. I don't know how I'll pay back because sometimes you bring new subscribers to my channel too, man. I feel good. Yeah, sorry, the last time I've been on the road, jumping here and there, sometimes I'm a nomad. Yeah, I live in a place where maybe there's no internet, or for 2 days I'm gone. So yeah, but now for the whole of this month up to the 6th of next month, I'll be stable. So anytime you feel like you want to hit me, just tell me, man. Any topic, we can talk about it.
All right, and you know that I'm definitely going to do that. And again, thank you so much. Appreciate you, brothers, man. I'm gonna go ahead on and head on out of here. Thank you guys for all that you're doing. Appreciate you, and we'll see you again later on next time, Amara.
Bye.